I can't believe what I've witnessed. Declan Rice, last-minute winner against Luton Town. This Arsenal machine that are desperate to win the Premier League are trying to prove everyone wrong that they can do it after what happened last season. I think this is a very, very different Arsenal side. Getting past Luton Town, Liverpool have struggled there. Loads of sides have struggled against Luton this season. And Arsenal have picked up 3 points from multiple drawing or losing positions. 7 goals. It's a classic game. We'll talk about all the goals in this video, but if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Would really appreciate that. I don't know where to begin. The result is a 10 out of 10. I can't express that enough. The result is a 10 out of 10 performance result, but the performance is not a 10 out of 10. I thought Arsenal were very vulnerable defensively, didn't do enough in midfield, didn't work as hard as Luton Town, but they showed glimpses of quality where Luton Town weren't able to keep the ball, weren't able to alleviate pressure, especially when it was 3-3. Let's talk about the goals. Obviously, Martinelli scores his first in 16 with a nice little finish, making it 1-0 early in the game. But Luton Town, round of applause to them, because after their comeback goal with Osho, absolutely amazing from Luton Town. The amount of times they were able to get themselves back into the game, show fight, show grit and determination. And Osho was absolutely incredible in the game. This is a kid that's come from, he's been on loan at the likes of Rochdale and Yeovil Town, I think it is. And for what he's doing and what all these players are doing at this level is absolutely commendable. And I only hope that these points that Luton have dropped, or at least 1 point that Luton have dropped, it doesn't stop them staying in the Premier League. I hope it's other results that do that, because they deserved a point today against Arsenal at least. And Osho does very, very well to get them equal. Gabby Jesus with a beautiful little header, only 5 yards out, but there was a lovely bit of play from, I think it's Saka plays in Ben White. Ben White with a beautiful ball into the far post. And there's 3 or 4 players for Arsenal that could have knocked that in. The ball from Ben White, I thought he was absolutely superb today, Ben White. He won't get talked about in the press because of Declan Rice, because of Saka, Jesus. He was absolutely exceptional. And he actually lived up. You could tell he's played in the Championship. He lived up to the Luton's energy. He lived up to their physicality. And despite having fake tan on, he looked like the most, he almost looked like the most Luton Town player out of all the Arsenal players, if that makes sense. Adebayo gets Luton back in it in the second half. Terrible keeping from Raya. What is he doing? He looked lightweight all game. Arsenal have gone from having 1 average keeper, a sub top 10 Premier League keeper, to having 2. That is not genius level IQ, if you ask me. And then Ross Barkley makes it 3-2 to Luton Town. It's a great little bit of play. It's great to see a player as talented as Ross Barkley playing in the Premier League, competing against Arsenal's midfield. He was the best midfielder on the pitch. There's no question about it. He was the best midfielder on the pitch for both Arsenal and Luton Town, and he had an absolutely superb performance. It was a great goal from his perspective. It was shocking from Arsenal. David Raya has to save that 1,000,000%. It's the worst mistake of the night, because it's keeper basics. Sometimes when things are in the air, it's different, but it's keeper basics 101 all day long. And I don't know what's happened to both Raya and Ramsdale. If Raya had come in and just replaced a Ramsdale who's leaving in the summer, let's say he was leaving, then maybe Raya has this kind of kick of confidence to know that he's number one. Maybe there's a young understudy behind him, whatever. I think the goalkeeping situation for Arsenal has actually made both of them worse. It's almost like being a jack of all trades, master of none. Neither of the keepers for Arsenal have mastered the position and mastered the spot, and that is a massive issue for Arsenal Football Club. I don't know if they can win the Premier League with the current goalkeeping situation. Can they go out in January and get someone else? I don't know if that's reasonable to expect that. I think it's imperative. I really do. I think they're both rubbish. That's the reality. Kai Havertz nips in from a little flick on. I think it's from Jesus, but it's a nice little finish from Havertz, who's slowly picking up form. And Havertz is looking like one of those clutch players who gets you back into games with little finishes, awkward movement, awkward jinky runs. He reminds me a little bit of Pippo and Inzaghi. Obviously not the as good a finisher, of course not, or an icon. But he has this kind of awkward, jinky, inevitable finish on him sometimes. And that's just how I see it. It was a great little finish from Kai Havertz. But then what can I say? Declan Rice, who I didn't think had the best game today. Again, with the great thing about Declan Rice, if you're an Arsenal fan, you have to let me know if you agree with this. But when he doesn't play well, it doesn't negate the rest of the team. And you can definitely have holding midfielders that don't play well. Maybe let's talk about when Partey wasn't playing well for Arsenal. There's definitely been a few games. You could say Granit Xhaka, when he played in the base of midfield, pre-Partey, Declan Rice, early in the Arteta era, when he played badly, especially when he was throwing the captain's armband off, the whole Arsenal side struggled. The sign of a great and elite world-class midfielder is when you're not playing great, you just keep it simple, keep you ticking along. And then he's added that goal in the 97th minute. That's absolutely superb. Great little finish. Again, inevitable. You want your players, if you're an Arsenal fan, to be showing leadership, where I think there was a real lack of leadership today from Arsenal. They'll chalk it off and they'll say, we're not going there again until next season. If Luton are even in the league next season, we've got 3 points. It's a fantastic result. But there's a lot of opportunity for constructive feedback if you're Arteta and those Arsenal players. Because winning the Premier League, you can't concede that many goals. And I think Arsenal will be banking on the fact that from March to April to May, that they can shut off the goals, have some of these tough games that they've already played away at home, have a bit more of a back line. Maybe they can find out exactly what the situation is with Zinchenko, Kiwior. Kiwior I thought was fantastic. Tomiyasu, I know, has got a knock as well. So when that back line's a little bit more sorted, they won't be conceding these kind of cheap goals. And that includes the keeper as well. I still think the keeper is a massive issue. How have Luton Town got a better keeper roster than Arsenal Football Club? Highly embarrassing, if you ask me. A big player that I think went missing today, Martin Odegaard. Did he do anything exceptionally wrong? No. But you are looking for more. You are looking for more from your creative outlet. You know, these midfielders these days, they're being asked to do everything. You know, he's not playing as a number 10 per se. He's covering a lot of ground. He's coming deep for the ball. He's ended up in the box at points. He's trying to link everything up together. He's trying to do the De Bruyne role. He's trying to do a David Silva role at Man City with Guardiola. And he's not quite doing enough for me. He's not getting games by the scruff of the neck. He's not grappling with the challenge at hand. I feel he goes missing too many times. I'm not saying that to wind Arsenal fans up. I thought their performance at points today was fantastic and the result was great. But you're looking at someone like Odegaard, pick up the ball, show a bit of creative flair. That's how Arsenal are going to win 8, 9, 10 games in a row to win the Premier League title this season. They nearly did it last season. Odegaard was fantastic. But you want to see a little bit more. I think Saka, Odegaard, Trossard, all a little bit clunky, all a little bit clumsy. It wasn't smooth for Arsenal today. It certainly wasn't smooth. But they got over the line. And the celebrations from Arteta, it shows you everything. You know, Man City have got Villa. Villa is a hard place to go. No Rodri. Calvin Phillips might be starting. These are where the moments now where the points can actually be made up. I was prepared to make a video slagging off Arsenal, saying they had to win this game because if it was a 3-3 draw, then all of Man City's mistakes, they're being let off the hook. But it wasn't. It was 3 points for Arsenal, maximum points. It doesn't matter if it's 4-3, 1-0, 10-0. It's all the same on the leaderboard, on the table, and Arsenal are currently top of it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We really appreciate it. It's a massive result for Arsenal Football Club.